We discuss Universal Orlando 2019 and beyond with Seth Kubersky on episode 334 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back. It is 2019 again, as you heard last
Not
week.
again.
I just realised that...
It's not 2019 again, do you?
I'm pulling the curtain back. Well, it might be.
No.
Who knows? Anyway, I am joined by Tracy, as you've already heard.
Hello, everyone.
And Darren.
What's up, Internet?
And Chris.
Hey, guys.
And also joining us from Touring Plans, The Unofficial Guides, Attractions Magazine, Orlando Weekly, Little Things, and apparently something else now, Seth.
Hi guys, it is an honor to kick off the new year with you. You out of breath there?
I think every time you record a Little Things for us, that list at the end gets longer every time.
Well, I've got excellent news for you. That list is now going to be very short.
Oh.
So I'm thrilled to announce that as of the first of this year, I am now an actual year-round salaried employee with the Unofficial Guides.
Nice.
And I'm still going to be contributing to Attractions Magazine, and I'm still going to have my regular column in the Orlando Weekly. But when I'm on here talking to you guys about Universal, I am going to be officially and full-time representing the Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando and the entire Unofficial Guide series. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streaming in the parks, hopefully even in-person meetups in the parks or around the parks, depending on how park security feels about that. And just generally, being out there more as the as kind of the brand ambassador for the Unofficial Guides, especially here in Orlando.
What a job. What a job.
I know.
Tell me, if any of them come up, I want one.
Yeah.
It takes about 10 years or so plugging away at it. So I wish you luck. I don't recommend it as a get rich quick scheme at all.
Well, that's what I set this up as, and 8 years along, we're not much better off.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm probably a few £1,000s down at this
I was going to
point.
say, I don't even think it's a get rich slow scheme, is it?
It's a get poor quick scheme.
I'm really excited to actually get to talk to you and not just be a recording.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird.
You can interrupt me now.
That's it. Every time we play a Little Things segment on, I'll think, I'll bring that up at the end. I'll bring that up at the end. I'll bring that up at the end. And by the time I get to the end, I've forgot most of the things you talked about. And
Same here.
Well, I'm glad I am able to wipe your memory.
Oh, no, that's just me. It's not you. It's old age.
Yeah.
So anyway, as I said at the beginning of the show, of course, we've asked Seth to come on and talk about what's happening at the resort this year and beyond, obviously, like we do every year. So
Yeah. So, looking at how busy Universal has been over the past 8 years, 2018 was actually relatively quiet.
I would agree. Just from being there, I would say this, especially the summer season, felt a little slower than expected. And there obviously there were big crowds there for the holidays, but even just yesterday, which was the final day of the holiday season here, the last day that the decoration was still up and the parades were still running. I went to both Magic Kingdom and Universal, and I'd say that Universal felt significantly less busy. Maybe some of that can be attributed to the big new ride that debuted, which I'm sure we can talk about in detail, not having the pull. And there's anticipation about the new attraction coming to Harry Potter in 2019. So that kind of, it feels like a rebuilding year, in between 2017 being so big with things like Pandora and Volcano Bay.
Yeah, so because 2018 didn't really have that much new stuff coming in, did it?
Yeah.
So
but obviously we've got a lot of new things happening all throughout 2019. Some that we know about, and some that we're just finding out about, like today.
Yeah, exciting.
Nice. Now, we had the opening of what we would call one of the greatest rides ever, right? Fast and Furious Supercharged.
Woo!
You could call that.
Could call it anything we want, but yeah.
You'd be over genius attractions like Stitch's Great Escape. If you call it the greatest attraction of all time. But
we also had Voodoo Donuts and the new on-site hotel, the Aventura, and the closing of T2 3D.
Yeah.
Yes. Shedding a tear for that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of those things.
Eighth Voyage in back as well. Emeralds.
Just kidding. Aventura is great.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget Cinematic Celebration.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm still that confused that we were talking about it the other day, me and Tracy, and I'm still not sure whether it's currently Celebration or Spectacular. I still get them mixed up. Because Celebration,
well, I said, didn't I?
Celebration makes more sense when it originally debuted than it does now.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but let's see. I'm looking at a park map in front of me, and it is called Universal Orlando's Cinematic Celebration. And it used to, when it debuted, it had a much longer subtitle of like an epic nighttime spectacular or blah, blah, blah. And that quickly disappeared from the signage because it was a mouthful.
Something under the stars or something, wasn't it?
No, yes, the previous one was the Cinespec. And then it was the
Cinematic Spectacular.
Cineceleb.
Whoa.
Yes.
Why they all have the same names?
And before that, it was the Universal 360 with the big balls. But we don't talk about that.
No.
We don't talk
Big
about
balls
that
are in the
anymore.
past.
I mean, if we want to talk about Cinematic Celebration, my vote is that it's by far the best of that style of clip shows that they've done. I still have a soft spot for the old Dynamite Nights. Give me a good speedboat jumping over an exploding barge any day of the week. But if we accept that kind of entertainment is not going to come back for all sorts of logistical reasons, then I think that what they did, fountains and pyro and lasers, is the best of that I've seen in that location.
Still say that would be a great way to bring Bruce back, though.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I think that's
Bruce versus the Orca just to fight her. That would be so great.
All you need is a little 15-second transition in there, and you could even do the shape of the fin with the fountains.
Yeah.
It could be I don't expect them to actually put an animatronic in the lake, but it would have been nice if there'd been a little nod to Jaws. I just feel fortunate that we know that E.T. the ride is sticking around because they would not have put that into that show if there were any plans of going. Everything else in there is either an attraction that we know is going to be there for a long time or an attraction that we expect is coming in the next few years.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, Fast and Furious Supercharged will be sticking around for a while.
Well, the best laid plans.
All right, so let's move on to this year, and we have a new coaster coming to Hogsmeade, the opening of the Endless Summer Resort, and maybe a replacement for Emeralds and City Walk. I'd hope that they'd be able to get that done. Knowing Universal, I'd say so. And just today, we heard a little bit of news about the Beverly Hills Boulangerie.
The permit for that project had been pulled a few months ago and then went quiet. And then very suddenly, right after the peak season rush, they shut that down. The only thing that I've heard is that it will have a theme that will be something related to Universal characters or IPs, as opposed to just being a generic Hollywood bakery.
Alicia posted something today about it being Today Show themed.
Okay, that would be an interesting choice.
Alicia seems to be on the nose a lot.
That's news to me.
But
I mean that's perfectly possible.
Oh man, I think a Hello Kitty shop there would have been great. Like a Japanese bakery would have been perfect for that.
Just seems a bit blah.
I mean, to be honest, the whole front of the park really needs to be rethought
Yeah.
and
absolutely.
revamped. It's not a great entry experience. As much as I think the Hello Kitty shop is cute, I think that the whole end near Shrek, all that needs to be rethought as a new opening statement for the front of the park. And then whatever they put in that corner, I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years down the road it's not there.
Seth, could you see at this point then, with T2 not being in there, with the potential to change that, obviously they are, well, what we know it's going to be born, and then the Beverly Hills Boulangerie going, do you think we could see a theme change to that area of the park away from Hollywood?
Oh, I don't expect that immediately. I mean, maybe eventually that whole front section, but Mel's isn't going anywhere.
No.
They just invested in the infrastructure of the dark room, reopening the dark room as that photo spot, and so there's some facades there, like the Schwab's pharmacy and the Brown Derby, that are just kind of feel like classic Universal, and I think you could fix the front of it without totally losing the Hollywood. I mean, it would just be weird to have a Universal park with no Hollywood.
Yeah, it just seems strange that they're taking out like the Beverly Hills Boulangerie to put something else in there. It screams Hollywood. Why put something generic in there?
Yeah, and today's show seems more New York than LA to me. But
that's true.
We'll see how deep that theming is. I suspect that whatever theming happens will be mostly skin deep. I mean, but I could be wrong. I'm just concerned, will there be cheesecake? Will there be pastries? Beyond that, I honestly, I can't say that I've spent a lot of my life eating at Boulangerie or worrying about it. So, yeah.
I think we've been in it once.
I'm more concerned with why they've gone completely radio silent on what we've all assumed is going to be the Jason Bourne. They even, I believe they put out a newsletter to employees, about getting excited for 2019, and mentioned everything that we've talked about except whatever's going into T2. So, I mean, it something is definitely happening, and obviously it's more extensive than just swapping out a stage show, because they've torn out the back of the theater, and there's major infrastructure being built. But they've just been so quiet about it.
But then when you look at Universal, right, we're literally potentially 5 months away from the new coaster opening in Hogsmeade. Nothing, absolutely no details about that whatsoever. The only thing we've had is the concept art that wasn't even put out by Universal themselves.
No, which they've never confirmed or reposted. So, like I was saying, this was a soft summer, and I don't think they wanted to do anything to exacerbate people putting off their vacations until 2019. So, as much as fans want to know what's going on, it's driven by marketing and what's best for sales. So,
then why would you not put details out of your brand new attraction that, let's be honest, going to drag people in from all over the place?
I think Seth makes a good point there, because I mean, if you knew like there was a new phone coming out in 2 months, would you buy one now or wait?
You'd wait.
You would.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, especially with the international market, they would.
Yeah, because you guys take
the money.
a long time to plan a trip.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that they've been really gun shy ever since they announced in, what was it, late 2007 that Harry Potter was coming to Islands of Adventure.
Yeah.
And they just saw attendance crash, especially in 2009 and early 2010 before the Hogsmeade opened.
Yeah.
I think scared of that ever happening again. I think that Disney's fan base is big enough and rabid enough that they know that they can pump out teasing information, and it's not going to stop people from coming in and having vacation. Yeah. But because Universal has this history, it makes them really scared about what they allow to get out there.
That's fair enough.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
It does, but it's like for us, it's like clamoring for it. Like it's literally, you can see it there.
Yes, but
it's
we are the
nearly
fanboys and
finished, right?
girls.
Even in fairness, we all know what that coaster's going to be. We just want a name or something.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it. I have to write my 2019 book, which is going to sit on shelves, which incidentally is available now. The Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando 2019, available now at fine bookstores, wherever fine bookstores still exist. And Amazon, of course. But I had to write descriptions of that ride using all of the available information, basically what was available late last year, and trying to guess at what the attraction's name might be. The only thing I will tell you, I know 99.9% sure that it will not have the name Harry Potter in the title.
I don't think anyone expected that.
No.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't. I would bet $1 that if anyone's name is in the title, it would be Hagrid.
Yeah.
And I would expect not the word forbidden in the title, because that would be confusing with forbidden.
Yes.
But the word creatures might be.
I think, well, I'm not going to say, because we have a little private Facebook group for some of our most ardent listeners and supporters, and we're having a little friendly
cool
competition in there at the moment of everyone putting what they think the ride title might be. It's just when we get it, who knows? They're just so weird. It's like, I think, Seth, we've talked to you before over the years. It's like, what's this new attraction then? What new attraction? And it's literally built, finished, there. Oh, there's nothing to see over there.
Yeah. I mean, I've had media tours in the past with members of Universal Creative, and pointed at a construction wall and active, equipment moving, and said, "So what's that about?" And they said, "What are you talking about? I don't see anything."
That must be so hard.
Yeah.
I think this year I'm going to push this in a direction that I think Darren might be happier with. Obviously, one of the big things this year is going to be Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm finally getting to go, and I am so excited, so I don't even care what's there this year. But
I think this is really going to be a spacer year between 2018 and 2020.
Hopefully we're coming out for 30 as well, so I don't care.
Darren, you can go off someone.
I can tell you that the executives, the people who run the budgets and count the income, do not consider any year a spacer year.
Yes.
They expect, every year breaks attendance records, and I think they've gotten to the point where they expect that to happen, and they are going to continue. They're going to continue adding nights and expanding. How many people they can shove in there until they find the breaking point. I mean, they haven't yet.
I don't think they were far off last year.
It's a close tie between which is worse, being in the Magic Kingdom at like peak Christmas or Easter versus being in Universal Studios for peak Halloween Horror Nights. It's pretty neck and neck. But there's a lot more drunk people at Halloween Horror Nights. So, but then again, there's more strollers. Actually, no, there might be about the same number. I don't know which one I'd least want to be at.
It's funny because when we came out for Halloween Horror Nights 25, I'd heard a lot of negative comments coming about how many drunk people that were about that year, and obviously we were a lot more sensitive to it that year because we were bringing the kids over for the first time. And I'll be honest,
older kids, not kids in strollers.
Well, no, she was still, our youngest was still 11 at the time, so I was like concerned a little bit, and we never encountered anything.
Oh, it's sheltered.
Depends, yeah.
It depends on what night you go. It depends on when in the run. It depends on But I mean, I will say that it's not as bad as bad is a relative term depending on your point of view. But they have scaled back the number of bars. They don't have the blood bags or shots or whatever. It's a little toned down, and they're a little bit more careful about over serving than they might have been in years past. But it's still. I don't have kids, but it's not something that I would bring my 9-year-old niece and nephew to. But
yes, we know we're bad parents.
We don't.
No,
care.
I mean,
Acceptance is the first step.
Everyone gets scarred by their parents somehow. So you might as well scar them with haunted houses. I guess.
Do you want to know something? It was the 16-year-old that got more scarred than the 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't care less. He was running through the Walking Dead going, I hate zombies! I hate zombies!
And she's complained there wasn't enough blood. I swear we raised a psychopath.
Or a Halloween Horror Nights fan, which is...
We'll go with
maybe
that.
the
That
same
sounds
thing.
better, yeah.
But sort of talking about it this year, Seth, obviously, like last year seemed to be, from outsiders looking in, the amount of complaints on the annual pass holders page of like massive waits. Obviously, they've tackled that a little bit this year with pushing Rock the Universe earlier in the year and then opening Halloween Horror Nights. Is it an extra week or 2 weeks? 2.
Yeah, I'd have to count up the exact number of days compared to last
2 full
year.
months, basically.
Yeah.
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 Full month.
Well, I mean, hey, Halloween at the Magic Kingdom starts in August now. So what are you going to do if there's demand? If there's demand for it now, what I will be interested in and see how this affects labor. By the end of that run, they keep adding nights, they keep extending hours. Those performers get beat up pretty hard. I mean, it's a physically demanding job, and I'm curious to see how much attrition is, and what that does to their staffing needs by the end of a run, especially if they. This year they had 10 houses, and I think once they set a baseline, I don't think they can go back down to 9. So I would expect the same or more houses, and those houses take a lot of people. You're talking probably 100 actors per house.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah.
And if you're going to extend the hours on that, then you might be looking at adding a third rotational shift at some point. Or reducing the number of actors and splitting them off more. It's just they got to do something, and then what do you do? Put more visual effects and that kind of thing in.
Well, I've believed for a long time that Universal they've been relying on a template of how you move people through a haunted house in basically the same way for the last 10 years, and it's kind of reaching the breaking point of capacity. They can't really shove more people an hour through the way that they build the houses. So either you build more houses or you find a completely new way of moving people through a haunted house.
Yeah.
But they've kind of approached the limit, operationally, of what you can do with the way they do it.
It's interesting, I think, when you look at last year as well. Didn't they open it for an extra day at the end of the run last year?
Yeah, that was really fascinating. I went for Stranger Things Day, which just happens to be in the beginning of November. So right after the event had closed, they had one day where during the daytime, and it was fully staffed. It wasn't like in Universal Studios Hollywood where they let people do lights on daytime tours for free. This was the full haunted house. They had warning signs out, for people in the park with kids who were just day guests. But yeah, they had full makeup and costumes and the sound and lights going, and it had as long a queue as any attraction in the park that day.
Wow.
Now that could be. Some people would say, oh, that's a test. They obviously want to see if they can do a year-round haunted attraction or a year-round Stranger Things attraction.
That's what I thought.
They've done a year-round walkthrough in Hollywood. They know how to do that. they know what kind of response it gets. They've seen how The Walking Dead has gone from being a all-day attraction to one that's scheduled to be open and closed for just certain hours each day. And that's because the demand does not, in the long run, justify the staffing requirements. So just because it is a big hit for one day doesn't necessarily mean that it's something they're going to want to build long term. But what I would say is that if they did want to do that, you have to build those sets and those props completely differently. I know the people who build them for Halloween Horror Nights, and they are very carefully budgeted so that they have a shelf life. You know, they are good enough to make it through the event, and by the time they get to the end of the event, there are props that they recycle every year, and then there's stuff that just kind of falls to pieces by the time you get to the end.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of in between. So if you want to build a year-round haunted attraction, you can't just take a Halloween Horror Nights maze and keep it open, because it won't work.
No.
Yeah.
No, so just I was just looking. That wasn't actually what I was meaning, because I was just looking there. They added an extra day to Halloween Horror Nights last year, October the 30th. I was just looking. I remember seeing a few people who went. I think it was Clint Gamache I saw had gone, and it was that quiet. So they added an extra date, obviously due to capacity, but it was that quiet. They were pulsing guests through that night.
I heard about that. Yeah, and I had a good experience this year. I went the first Thursday, I believe, and after opening weekend, and while it wasn't empty, I got through all 10 houses without needing an express pass.
Wow.
And left long before closing.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I got in. I got in during early entry. Stayed with my annual pass and knocked out the houses back by The Simpsons, and had about 7 of the houses done before 8 p.m.
Wow.
And then actually went back to the hotel, came back later. And wound up doing, I think, a total of 14 houses. I did every house plus a bunch of them twice. So it's totally possible if you pick the right night. But the problem is that the frequent fear passes make it so nights like Friday and Sunday especially that used to be really slow are now as busy or sometimes even busier than Saturdays.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
You got to find those Wednesdays and Thursdays early in the run. That's the best way to go.
Yeah, and the other thing I think is people that go as often as we do, multiple times through every year, we kind of get used to the the sensory experience of it all. But I think people going, that haven't been going every year, or just go once a year, perhaps, will have I think they'll have a lot harder time at least taking it all in a night now. I think it's getting to the point where it's 2 at least.
It's physically, I did a step tracker on that night, and I walked a full half marathon.
Wow.
Especially
Wow.
with some of those haunted houses where you walk a mile just to get to the entrance because it's been routed all the way backstage, and then you walk another mile through some weird exit pathway. By the time you're done 10 houses and you've done 2 or 3 laps around the lagoon, it's brutal on your body, and that's assuming you're not drinking any alcohol. You add in,
Now that makes it easier.
you add in a few beers an hour, and
You might walk a few extra miles.
I'm too old for that now. I can't keep that up night after night.
Yeah, and add a show into that as well, and it gets pretty crazy.
Seth, could you ever see him spreading it over both parks again?
I would love to see that. I don't know if it makes sense operationally, because so Marvel has that warehouse that could be useful where they had the Carnage Warehouse haunted house when they did that one year. But most of the sound stages that you would use are accessible from Universal just the same as they are from Seuss. And the time that they put a haunted house in Poseidon's Fury, I don't think it worked very well. And you obviously can't put anything in Hogsmeade.
Yeah.
And then there'll be construction most likely in Jurassic Park over the next few years. And there are no really good warehouse spaces behind Toon Lagoon. You've got the Toon Lagoon Amphitheater. That's the only space that I could see, but because of the levels, I don't think it would be a very good place to build a haunted house. So I'm not sure, other than having more space to put people in walkways. But the problem is that I remember, well, she's gone now, so I don't know who's executing the estate, but Dr. Seuss's late widow was not happy when they did Halloween Horror Nights stuff in Seuss Landing.
Right.
So I don't know what adding Islands Adventure would buy them. But then again, I'm not sure where they could certainly put a haunted house in the queue of Fast and Furious because there ain't no one in there.
Well, it's already a scary attraction anyway, from what I've heard.
Oh yeah, I mean they lock you in the pre-show and make you watch the really terrible acting on the pre-recorded.
Yeah.
That's a horror night. Oh yeah.
Oh, imagine the employee. Oh. That has to interact with it constantly as well.
So stepping a bit further through then, because like I say, there's not much going on this year. Like we said, we've got the Hogsmeade coaster, Endless Summer. I've already priced it up. It's not as cheap as they reckon it is.
Well, they advertise. They were advertising $79 a night, but that was based on like a week-long stay with the maximum discount.
Yeah, it's still not that much. I priced it up for a week in 2020 in February, and it was coming out way more expensive than where we're actually staying.
Really? Where are you staying?
I'll bleep it out, but I'll put it in like just down the road.
Okay. I know. All right. Edit that out.
Oh, well. But yeah, it wasn't. It was quite a lot more expensive.
Interesting.
I think it worked out at something like 110 a night. It was a lot.
Well, I still think that 110 is going to be, depending on the season, going to be really competitive for that area. Yeah. And I mean, the hotel, I mean, those are good motels in that area to get murdered at. So just based on safety alone, I think that they're gonna do just fine. I think they're gonna have no problem filling rooms.
I've no doubt. Yeah, I mean, they look even half built now. They look they look attractive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're gonna go on after. There's always going to be an absolute bottom of the market that they're never gonna compete with. But I think they're gonna definitely hollow out that lower middle.
I think it's that thing as well. It's not necessarily looking at it from a Universal Orlando Resort point of view. It's going to be that midpoint between Universal Orlando Resort and Universal's Fantastic Worlds. I'm going to start calling it that from now on because that's what it is. Apparently, if you believe leaked pictures.
At this point, they could probably change the name just to screw with us.
I hope they do.
I mean, just to spite us. If they'll know Nintendo.
No, it's all Sega.
It's going to be called Universal's Wondersea Adventure Park, starring Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'd forgotten about that name. That was doing the rounds, wasn't it, for a while?
And yes, we're finally bringing Waterworld over to the East Coast.
Yes. We can blue sky this park. It will have it'll have a Saturday Night Live exhibit and a wicked show.
Oh yeah.
It will have an Apollo 13 coaster.
Mouse Muggle Travel Company, our services are completely free to you. We don't just do Universal. We can do Disney. We can actually do anything. I don't know if anybody knows that. We can do anything. We can book absolutely anything, and it's super easy. We have a website. Just go to mousemuggle.com, and we have a link there for a free quote request. You just fill it out. That email comes straight to me, and either Robin or I will handle it, or if we're a little bombarded, then we'll send you off to one of our expert agents. But we'll take good care of you. So reach out to us at any time.
But so moving past this year, Seth, what do you expect to see? Because obviously we've got nothing announced.
I expect something to go into Emeralds. I think Emeralds is going to be a restaurant.
Big Fire Grill is the name that seems to be being banded
exactly,
around.
yes.
That sounds veggie friendly.
Now,
Oh, Tracy.
Where are the drums?
You can guess exactly what kind of food they're going to serve, but I think that the park can use, or the City Walk can use, a mid-level steakhouse. You've got the Palm for high-end steaks, but
yes.
the NBC Grill got rid of most of their steaks. They had a pretty extensive steak menu, and they cut it way back. So I don't know exactly what kind of food Big Fire is going to grill. I assume there will be grilled food of some sort. Probably animal protein that has been heated over a chemical combustion.
You might be able to. They might
that's
serve,
a totally wild guess.
They might serve chicken.
I'm sure a chicken will be an option.
No, I mean
anyway,
chicken, not chicken.
Oh, chick apostrophe.
Yes,
yes. Well, that's actually something else that I think is going to be a trend. It definitely kicked up in the second half of this year, and I think you're going to see more vegan entrees at pretty much most quick service restaurants and all table service restaurants,
which is
definitely expanding.
Because when we come over in 2020, we'll actually have a vegetarian with us. Our daughter is strictly vegetarian now, and we've already started panicking about what she's going to be able to eat.
I fully support it in theory. I just wish that whoever was coming up with these meals had functioning taste buds. Because they seem to think that salt is not vegan. There's all of these things that I've tried taste like they're made for invalids. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the chicken patty itself, but they're just taking the chicken patty and microwaving it or warming it up and gently placing it on a flavorless bun, and there's no searing, there's no seasoning. I mean.
You gotta add some bacon on that thing.
Hey, this is still a theme park. They're still going to get the same quality of food that regular meat eaters get.
Yes.
But no, I mean there is some there's some stuff with promise. Like there's a vegan sausage Italian pasta that they're serving at the Italian restaurant in the New York area.
Yeah.
That's acceptable. And the Impossible Burger, you can get the Impossible Burger in both parks now, and it's not my favorite, but I think that the texture is pretty good, and that if you put enough toppings on it and squint, you can kind of fool yourself. And as a carnivore, that's really high praise.
I found cover it in pickles and mustard is the way to go.
Yeah. It's perfectly edible. So, it's not as bad as it used to be that you just have to ask for a burger, hold the burger, and just eat a lettuce sandwich. But it's gotten better.
Interesting.
I still think that we're going to wave a corn dog at Jade and she's going to crumble.
She might do.
The other things that I'm keeping an eye out for in 2019 that haven't been announced is some expansion at Volcano Bay. I kind of expect it to happen this summer.
Yes.
Because I think they're kind of capacity restricted. I think that they would love to let more people in the park. and that they just don't have anywhere for them to go.
Well, they announced
So
that area, didn't they? Just after it opened, that they had an expansion area.
They didn't. Yes, they have an expansion area, and they talked to the press about doing an expansion quickly, but they never put out like an official announcement that something was opening. Land has been moved. There's pieces that look like they could be going somewhere, but I'm kind of surprised that it's taking this long. There's also kind of a labor shortage in Orlando here when it comes to construction. It's like anyone who can work is got all the work they need at Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
And or at Harry Potter. And I think those two projects are sucking up a lot of the available labor in town.
Seth, do you think an expansion at Volcano Bay will actually add attractions, or do you think it'll just be sort of capacity?
No, I mean, when I say capacity, I mean riders per hour.
Right.
Like have something give something for people to tapu into, or better yet, have something that they don't need tapu for at all. I don't know if they're going to build another lazy river. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think a high capacity, medium thrill slide or raft ride that is family friendly, that is group oriented, maybe that, something that is kind of like maybe the Krakatoa, but more reliable, higher capacity. SeaWorld or SeaWorld's Aquatica has added some rides that have multiple elements and kind of family friendly and have decent throughput. And I think Universal would pick something similar to that.
I think what they need to do to alleviate some congestion is, it's not that far away for Cabana Bay, have a section that when the parks are extremely busy, that they can route the lazy river out through into the Cabana Bay one. So you go out into Cabana Bay, around the Cabana Bay one, and then back into Volcano Bay, just on busy days.
Okay. So this is technically perfectly possible. The only thing we need is an angled geyser with a water spout over the fence across the access road. They're going to have to hold on to the inner tubes in the lazy river really tight. But we launch them over the road, and if we hit it just right, they will land in the lazy river over there.
And
Hopefully
now we have our new
not
Krakatoa.
Yeah.
Well, what
I volunteer you to be the first to test that.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
I think it would be
right after you drive on the I-4 interchange, they opened today, despite finding hairline cracks all through the support beams.
Oh.
I'm not driving on that one anytime soon. I will find a different on-ramp.
It'll settle, probably. I was thinking,
hopefully not brought to you by the same people building the Millennium Falcon.
No.
Oh God. Oh no. Just thinking a good capacity thing we could do is, just take out some of that parking garage and just go VR with it.
Yeah.
Just put a bunch of VR, those cell phone cheap ones, waterproof, and then have one teenager spraying everybody with a hose every, couple of seconds. Amazing.
I think you should patent that quick.
Yeah, definitely. But I think looking further down the line after this year, it seems to be, I know having spoken to Alicia a lot, that a lot of what's going on at the resort is being scaled back because they're wanting to put as much as they can down into that third, fourth gate, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still think something is going to happen in Kids Zone. There's just so many signs that, but at the same token, I've been hearing that for like 4 years now. So I'm not holding my breath, but I think that something is going to happen to Kids Zone. It's not going to be what it was originally supposed to be. It's not going to be maybe as big or elaborate as we'd hoped. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, something is happening at Jurassic Park, or at least it was up until the holidays. I haven't seen much happening for the last week or so, but I mean, there's activity there. Beyond that, I think that the the studios and Islands Adventure are going to be considered kind of complete for the next few years, and will only get updates if they see attendance really cratering, and all the other effort is going to be poured into the new property.
Which to me is so sad. I mean, the studios, yeah, to be honest, you probably could leave it for 4 or 5 years now, but Islands has had, other than Potter, it's had nothing, literally nothing done to it since it opened.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the shame is that it was built as a pretty complete park. I mean, compared to any of the parks that Disney built in the last 20 years, it had the most well-rounded lineup on opening day. And it kind of coasted on that for a while, and then it's been coasting on Potter since 2010. But you know, obviously Poseidon's Fury and what's left of Sinbad is desperately crying out for attention. But I don't have the numbers in front of me. There's a certain guests need to experience a certain number of attractions each day in order to feel satisfied, and I suspect that the majority of them are getting it.
Yeah, didn't Len Tester always say it was about 9? I think.
Correct. Yes, correct. 9 was always the magic number. I think since Fast Pass that might have been pushed up to 10. But yeah. So I don't know what's gonna justify them pouring a lot of money. I know that there is a lot of speculation about something big happening at Lost Continent before or around the same time as the new park opens. I'd love that to happen, but I also think that Universal Creative might have, especially with Beijing going on at the same time, they might have only so much that they can do at once.
Yeah.
And I think they want to make sure that all of their A game is on the new park. I'd love to be proved wrong, though.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them do both at the same time.
I hope that when that new park opens, that it is the success they want it to be, and the money that they bring in from there that they will then pump back into Islands, especially.
Well, I mean, I think if anything has the potential to do it, it's Nintendo.
Yes.
Whatever any of the other properties are, I think the box office returns for the latest Fantastic Beasts say that Potter might have finally kind of started to level off. And so if there's Fantastic Beasts in the new park, I don't know if that's going to be as big a draw in 4 or 5 years as it would have been 5 years ago. And there's DreamWorks will obviously be part of it because they spend a lot of money on DreamWorks. And maybe a big Shrek reboot will totally change things. I think those properties might be kind of evergreen, but I don't think that they're things that people plan a vacation around.
No.
But I think Nintendo is the kind of thing that people, especially if they get the Mario Kart ride right and they get the interactivity right, if they make it feel like people are, that they're getting something out of it that they can't just get out of playing the games at home, then I think Nintendo could move the needle for them in the same way that Harry Potter did. I don't know what other property they could put in there that has that same potential, other than Lord of the Rings. And even then, I think Lord of the Rings fan base is older and isn't motivating family vacations.
I think it's a little bit too close to Potter as well for my liking to put in a park that potentially is going to have something similar in there.
Yeah, I think I've been a big advocate for a long time of them getting Lord of the Rings, and I think for a while it looked like everything was finally falling into place, but then it just kind of all went quiet, and I don't know, maybe the time has passed. We'll see. Amazon was supposed to be doing a new Lord of the Rings TV series.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the key to bringing it back. I don't know.
We'll see. So we're getting close to wrapping this up. I've got one last question for you before we go on to talk about your book, Seth. Obviously, we've talked that in the next few years, nothing massive is going to be going on at Universal Orlando, and it's probably all going to be focusing on that other park. Yet down the road, we have probably the biggest franchise of all time going in that's going to open in when does Star Wars Land open? Is it this year? Sorry,
It
Star
will
Wars
open
Land.
in 2019.
Galaxy
Twen-
Edge. Sorry.
2019 open ends on December 31st,
Right.
and I believe that there'll probably be soft openings and media previews and Club 33 and D23 and paid annual pass holder events. But I think the actual final official opening will be probably closer to December 31st than most people expect.
I'm not going anywhere
I'm-
near it in 2020 then.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I think that if you're booking a vacation for, October or November, planning on being able to get into Star Wars, like just as a as a day guest, I don't know if I would book a vacation around that. But at the same time, I just booked myself a hotel for the last week of June in Anaheim. And I have absolutely no guarantee that Star Wars will be open then.
Yeah.
Even though that's what it's looking like. So we'll find out.
But the interesting thing I look at is with Universal not really doing much, how much are they going to hurt by people potentially? Like they brought market share a little bit with Potter. They're now going to lose that, resting on their laurels a little bit with Star Wars, with Galaxy's Edge opening.
That's definitely a danger of losing momentum. I think that Universal's goal for the next few years is to fill all of those hotel rooms that they have, and to keep their money on site as much as possible. That they're not necessarily going head to head with Disney until that new property opens. Their goal over the next few years is to be not just a single day or also ran destination, to have an increasing number of people stay on site and spend, the majority or the plurality of their vacation at Universal.
My concern is that if people are going down to Disney more to visit Star Wars, that in the 2 or 3 or 4 years that you've got in between that opening and the new park opening, that you're going to lose that loyalty a little bit of guests.
Yeah, I mean that's possible, and I think if they can't ignore Star Wars. I mean, and they don't have as good as the Potter coaster, I'm sure, is going to be, and I think that the Potter coaster is almost definitely going to open significantly before Star Wars opens here. So that will give them a very, a short-term edge. But in 2020, unless there's something we don't know, I don't think for most of 2020 they're going to be able to compete directly with Star Wars. I think their goal is going to be to say, well, if Star Wars is the only thing that's new there, then why spend a whole vacation at Disney? Instead, spend your vacation at Universal and take one day and go to Disney and go see Star Wars.
Fair enough.
Because honestly, while Star Wars is going to suck up all the oxygen in 2020, you don't have Guardians of the Galaxy or Ratatouille or Tron Coaster opening in 2020.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be, and again, like it has been for the last 10 years, it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out, and hopefully one will push the other as it seems to have done for the last however many years.
Well, in general, the consumer wins.
Yeah,
the audience wins because we get new stuff. The downside is you have to still be able to afford to get in. We just saw this past weekend Disneyland hike all its prices, especially for annual passes, very considerably, months ahead of Star Wars. And their Star Wars opens almost half a year before ours. So I would expect in a few months to see similar price increases for Disney World. And while the Orlando annual pass base isn't as huge, so it doesn't need to be whittled down the way Disneyland's probably does, I think people are going to be in a little bit of sticker shock when they see the next round of Disney World price increases. And whenever Disney increases their price, Universal increases their prices. So it's inevitable. I mean, it's if you can buy the Universal especially has a buy now and get 6 months free special going on. If you want to come, you better take advantage of that while you can, because once that expires, I wouldn't be surprised to see pass prices really jump after that.
Well, I'm glad we've just bought ours then. There we go.
Sure.
Cool. So yeah, it's a little bit to look forward to this
Yeah.
year, and maybe a couple of years of stagnancy.
Oh yeah, and
but-
there's always surprises. There's always things that we don't know about. Obviously, there's things that we've heard whispers about, like a virtual reality or escape room has been whispered about for City Walk, and there were some trademarks filed. So who knows? I'm sure we'll have stuff to surprise us as the year goes on.
Absolutely. So, right, Seth, it's been great having you on, but as we have said, we've run a little bit long, but I did say I would give you opportunity. Let's talk about your latest guidebook, your official employers now as well.
Absolutely. The 2019 edition of the Unofficial Guide to Universal Orlando, like I said, is now available. You can get it online, or you can find it in bookstores. There's an ebook edition too. And, we've updated it with all of the latest information, updated touring plans, updating restaurant reviews, attraction reviews of all of the new attractions.
Oh. I need to ask you the question, Seth. I need to ask you the question.
Yes.
Go on, Fast
Go for
and
it.
Furious. What are the reviews like for that you're seeing for your guidebook?
I would say that that are you asking about my personal opinion or
No.
what we hear
Well,
from
actually,
readers?
you can give us both if you want.
Okay. From my personal opinion, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I will say that it has the lowest author's rating of any e-ticket attraction in the parks.
Oof.
And
Wow.
that includes Fallon. I like Fallon better.
Okay.
And I know Fallon was very controversial with a lot of people.
Yeah.
The only major attraction that I would rather I would rather do Fast and Furious than do it was Fear Factor Live. Fear
Yeah.
Factor Live as a show, I don't consider it an e-ticket attraction. That's about the only thing that I rank lower than Fast and Furious. But our readers, I will say that the mail and the surveys have been surprisingly harsh. A lot of times guests are just like, whatever, it was fine. People are over 3D or not 3D, screen-based
Mm-hmm.
things. They're over sitting in a chair and being shaken around and looking at a screen.
Mm-hmm.
And they're taking it out on Fast and Furious. They're kind of like all of their pent up aggression. That no one's gonna go and see Spider-Man and say, "Oh, screen based, it's terrible." But they, after they do Spider-Man, Despicable Me, and Simpsons, and all those, then they get to
Yes.
Fast and Furious, and they're like, "Ah!"
Yeah. I did like your use of surprisingly harsh.
Yeah.
Surprisingly?
Or not surprisingly.
Well, I mean, people have a built-in thing that they have sunk the money for a vacation, and sometimes they will rank things maybe higher than if they really thought about it critically, because they don't want to think that I spent all this money to have a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So sometimes, and sometimes that we are cynical because we've been to parks millions of times. If you walk in off the street and you've never been on any theme park attraction, all you've ever done is carnival rides. And if Fast and the Furious was the first thing you'd never seen anything
Yes.
like
Yeah.
that, you might think that was amazing. So we're all kind of jaded.
I think
Yeah.
we had a listener email in just before Christmas. I remember the four of us, and we kind of figured out an order to do the screen-based attractions so you get the best experience out of all of them. So you do
Oh, that's
basically
good.
the worst
That's
one
great.
first and the best one last, so that each one gets progressively better. So you ride the first one, go, oh, it was all right, and then the next one, that wasn't bad, and then by the time you've got to Forbidden Journey, you're like, that was amazing. So
Yeah.
you get the best experience of each one, rather than riding
Oh, so
Forbidden
you-
Journey and then riding Fast and Furious and going, what the hell was that?
Right. So you would end with Forbidden Journey and not Spider-Man?
Ooh, me personally, yes.
All right. That's a bold statement, but
In fact, I would go as far as to say I would ride Transformers after Spider-Man. So
I think if you ride Spider-Man, then you're gonna Transformers feels. This would be a whole long conversation. Let's save this from another episode.
I know there's one person
for another episode.
I know there's one person on this call that would back me up, Darren.
Well, let's just sum up that in my book, Spider-Man outranks Transformers, and my book is available now.
I like
are
it.
sold. And you can also find me. I've still got my personal Twitter at Seth Kubersky, but I'm tweeting now at the UG series, and also I'm on Facebook and on Instagram. Just search for the Unofficial Guides.
Awesome. And of course, you'll still hear him on here every other week with little things.
Absolutely. I'm not going anywhere, whether you want me to or not.
Awesome. No, it's one of my favourite segments on the show. I love it.
Yeah, same here.
Cool. Right. Well, that's going to wrap up episode 300. I'm going to have to have a look because I can't actually remember at this point. 334. Seth, it's been great to have you on, as always. It's been nice to interact rather than just listen, even though there's been a bit of that as well.
Yes.
Well, let's talk again before the year's out.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, we will hopefully see you before the year's out.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Ooh, we should record a live episode.
Yeah.
Cool. That could be interesting. A live little things. That would be awesome.
Yes.
So yes, for Seth, Darren and Tracy and Chris and myself, we will see you back here next week.
Cut. Print. That's a wrap for another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review while you're there. Not an Apple user? You can listen on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or your podcatcher of choice. Email us any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. Keep up with the latest news, rumors, and updates on our blog at uuopodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.